Should you use an entire city as a memory palace? That's a question that came through the Magnetic Memory Method forum very recently, and this is the answer in video form just for you, coming right up. Hey there, this is Anthony Metivier from magneticmemorymethod.com, where we help mature learners of every age use their memory at the highest possible level and take mental adventures that unlocks the full powers of the mind and memory so you can learn more quickly and do it in ways that are easy, elegant, and fun. And if you're new here, get started now by clicking subscribe and hitting the thumbs up button, and get prepared to leave a comment below and let me know generally if you're engaged. And I mentioned that this question about using entire cities as memory palaces was on the Magnetic Memory Method forum. This is a new initiative that we're starting up to have a place for people to talk about memory improvement and their questions, specifically for large learning projects and specifically for mature learners who are serious about really mastering the art, the science, and the craft of memory techniques. Some people, they still doubt whether it's going to work for them and so forth, and the reality is that your brain operates on the same principles as the brains of the best memory champions in the world and the dudes from thousands of years ago who memorized entire books. Not much has changed about the brain. So if you need the science is there to demonstrate it. What a lot of people lack is they lack the discipline, they lack the consistency to learn the techniques, and quite frankly they lack the goals that are specific enough so that they're using memory palaces and related techniques to actually learn the techniques in a way that spikes the brain with a little bit of dopamine so they get this quick victory and then they're off running. And one of the problems is that they set massive, enormous goals that aren't needed and that are going to frustrate them, like using entire cities as memory palaces instead of learning the fundamentals first and enabling yourself to hit the ground running so that you do get success. And that's why we teach memory palaces as we teach them at magneticmemorymethod.com. So if you haven't taken the free course, make sure you take it at magneticmemorymethod.com/YT. All the links for that are down below, including the forum, which is going to be the destination you'll want to head to after taking the free course, because that's where we're going to answer questions that you may have. And you can see already other memory palaces that are created the Magnetic Memory Method way by the Magnetic Memory Method family. So that's very exciting. Now, if you were going to use entire cities as memory palaces, you'd want to do so very strategically and really cut down on this word entire. So, you know, we're not going to get into everything that I posted in the answer for this particular question, but one of the things is how can you maximize just one street? So we talk about that in that forum answer, and I give the example of when I lived in Manhattan and how that worked. And you know, Manhattan's a very big place, even though it's contained in a small island, and you can get more memory palaces than you need just out of Broadway. Okay, so there's that, and it's just a matter of strategy and thinking it through and knowing how that memory palaces actually work and maximizing that. Now, outdoor memory palaces are a bit problematic, and we're going to talk in a video coming up. The pool is just over here, and you know, outdoor memory palaces are a bit problematic, and the pool is going to give a good example of that, although there are other ways to use pools that are not so problematic, even though they're outdoors, as memory palaces. It's all very exciting, and there's multiple options, and that's one of the challenges that people have, is that there are so many ways to use mnemonics, and you want a elegant, effective, easy, and fun way that doesn't overwhelm you. So the biggest tip that I got for you around cities is scale it down. Learn how to use, first of all, one room as a memory palace. Learn the options that you have in that, and then learn the home, maybe the home you live in now or when you were a kid, or learn a contained space. Learn a single building first. Don't put the cart in front of the horse. Learn how to train the horse to pull the cart, right? And then always have the horse pull the cart. And make sure that you actually have like a learning goal. Have some information that you have identified that you actually want to memorize, because all the cities in the world turned into memory palaces aren't going to really help you if you don't have somewhere to go, right? And then when you have that somewhere to go, you're going to want to think strategically about how the memory palace technique is going to help you very specifically with that specific information. And that strategy is really easy if you've done the groundwork, if you've done some of the training. And there's no shortcuts here except for having the foundations. Once you have the foundations, then you can make shortcuts. And I often talk about how fast people go And we know this from the World Memory Championship records. I mean, Alex Mullen, for example, with his decks of cards, is just, wow, sizzling fast. But why? Because he knows the fundamentals, and he's practiced on a basis of exercising those fundamentals for that outcome. And you might not get that fast with biology or chemistry or math, but you won't need to, because that's not the techniques that you would necessarily use for those outcomes. But if you just learn one memory palace first, then the whole city system will make sense relative to the outcome. So you break it down so that the systems you create based on the fundamentals actually help serve those outcomes, and it really just is like a horse pulling a cart. Now, about that, I was just doing some recording with my friend William. We did a rather longer memory training, so if you don't want to miss that, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. And we were talking about the different terms for memory techniques in different languages, and one of them in German is ESELSBRÜCKE, and that literally means donkey bridge, right? And it's a very good way of describing mnemonics, because it really is. How could you get that donkey to pull the information you don't know over the bridge into your brain so that you do know it? And one of the things that you need to do is you need to make that bridge simple enough for a donkey to not have to think too much about how to get over it. And this is what the Magnetic Memory Method free course has done for thousands of people, is to make the memory palace so simple so that the donkey can just pull information you don't know over the bridge into long-term memory so that you do know it. But the cost, the price of entry, is that you learn the fundamentals first, and you don't overcomplicate it by getting too advanced before you've, earned that lower rank belt of just proficiency with the memory palace, period. So that's really, really important. Now, if you want to get super advanced with cities and so forth, one of the things that you're going to want to do after you've mastered the fundamentals is just focus on one street, and then go into as many buildings on that one street as you can and turn them into memory palaces. And then what you'll use those individual buildings for has to do with the actual topic that you want to use the memory palaces for, right? So it might be that you only use one of those stores on that street for one project, and you use another one for another project. It doesn't have to be that you use that entire street for just one learning project, although that may make sense. I did that a lot in my PhD, and it really made sense, because I would read like the Nicomachean Ethics from Aristotle, and I would want a single street, and in this case I used a longer road, and there was a there was a peacock farm on that road, there was the turkey farm on that road, and so on and so on. And I had a wonderful time using that particular one for Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics. Great book, by the way. And then I used different parts of Manhattan, for example, with Broadway, and like the 70s was very, very critical and perfect for a particular learning goal. And we have Broadway, so we link that to a particular person based on the letter of the alphabet, and making sure everything syncs together. We're always strategizing in the magnetic memory method. We're always making sure that we're reducing cognitive load by focusing on the systems and the paths and the strategies that maximize all our efforts so that we get maximum outcome. So that's my suggestion, and there's more on the forum. The link down to the forum is below. All you have to do is follow those links or go to magneticmerrymethod.com/forum, and you'll find a link there for the free course as well. I highly recommend that you take the free course, post any questions that you have about it on the forum, and dive in to the questions that are already appearing there. It's new, and we're looking forward to populating it, and maybe by the time you're watching this video years in the future, it won't be so new, and it'll have many wonderful discussions for you to dive into and to learn from. But they're going to make the most sense if you've taken the free course first. And always remember to build the foundational skills first and look forward to some amazing skills later, just so long as you think of it sort of like a martial art. There's belts, so to speak. They're implied in terms of level of skill, but the path to the black belt starts at the beginning. And if there's 36 chambers of Shaolin, you start in the first chamber. But relative to your level of skill, you can skip chambers sometimes, but you can't skip chambers that you aren't aware of existing in the first place. So you need the map so that you can essentially get into the territory, and then you rewrite the map based on your understanding of the territory. In other words, you can only break the rules that you know. Thanks for watching this video. Hit that thumbs up, get subscribed to this channel if you aren't already, and come visit me at magneticmerrymethod.com till we have a chance to speak again. keep yourself magnetic.